So it'd be good to think of your splits not only as an emergency paddle just to get yourself out of a problem, but actually as a useful tool for you. So rather than like I say, just having an old set there will sort you out in an emergency, just think about the fact that if you think about the spare paddle you're going to buy, it can allow you to drop down a gear or drop up a gear. It can allow you to drop down in stiffness, which could mean that if you've got any shoulder or wrist problems because you're paddling with a very stiff blade, stepping down to something that's a bit more flexible, it might mean that will solve the problem, especially at the start of the season, I suppose, when you're just getting your boat out and paddling around. Maybe you don't want to go for your super stiff carbons. Maybe something like a plastic or a glass blade will be a good way of reintroducing your body back to the rigours of sea kayaking. It all depends how much you want to spend, as usual, but you can also think about the fact that you might want to go for a bigger blade and maybe in the glass one and a smaller blade in your carbon. So again, you've got a bit more power. If you're swapping over, you're playing a race, and then you can always drop down to a smaller blade if you want to go and tour. Obviously, cranks or straights will be an issue, and again, you might want to swap around in terms of having one as a crank, one as a straight. Although I do find that once you get used to cranks, you want to stick with cranks. And all the split blades now allow you to adjust the feather, so again you can mess around with that according to your needs. But definitely having a change of gear is really useful. So my splits aren't just to get me out of trouble. So as a coach working on the sea, I see my splits as a useful tool, not just as a way of changing a broken paddle, but actually as a way of allowing my students to change up or drop down a gear, and also in materials allowing them to maybe start off with a very flexible plastic blade, let their body get adjusted to it, and then let them maybe have a go with a glass or a carbon blade to see what the difference is in terms of power transmission through their body. A bigger blade or a smaller blade, again, if you've got people having problems, you can drop down or drop up a gear, and introducing people to cranks for the first time. They're used to straights, and all the blades now have got adjustable feather. So again, talking to my students about maybe varying their feather rather than getting just stuck in a rut with one particular angle. Experiment with different feathers to help with their paddling. So basically, it's a tool for me to allow my students to sort of improve their sort of kayaking career, so to speak.